That's what turned me off to hunting, besides the getting up early and cold, was just being bored.
The boredom.
And there was no phones to play with back then.
Dude.
I would take a book up there and read, but I mean, I'm probably with you have your phone, it's a little bit less boring, but still.
Yeah, I'll download games and stuff. Dude, as a kid, I just remember being like, this is miserable. I don't even know how I got to like it.
I'm wondering that too.
A lot of times I'd sleep.
I remember one time I was hunting when I was a kid, and I was by myself, and my dad and my brother were in another stand, and I was falling asleep, and I literally got onto the floor of my stand and put my head on the seat, and I woke up, and there was this massive buck.
Jeez.
And when I woke up, I moved really quick, and it turned and looked at me and took off. I was like, oh, it's the biggest buck I've ever seen.
Of course. That's how it always happens.
Yep. All right. You ready to get started, Weber?
Yep. I guess.
Weber Herbison, glad to have you on the podcast, man.
I'm glad to be here.
All right, let me do a little live read for you, intro. My guest today grew up in the Mississippi Delta, played baseball at Delta State, went to dental school, bought his own practice, and recently published a book on hunting. Quite a lot of stuff to do in your young life. We're going to talk today about what it looks like to build a full life, professional success alongside a deep outdoor passion. Weber Herbison, welcome to the Hunter Owen podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So let's go back to where it all started. Tell me about growing up in the Delta.
It was definitely a small town lifestyle. I tell everybody I grew up on a farm, and everybody down here is like, "Oh, did y'all have cows or chickens?" I'm like, "No, we just row crop." And then they're like, "Oh, what'd y'all grow?" And I tell them, "Oh, soybeans and rice." And everybody goes, "Rice? Y'all have rice?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have a bunch of it, but we grow rice." They're like, "I thought that was only in like Vietnam or something." So yeah, definitely a very slow pace country lifestyle. I say I grew up in the country, but really I was like half a mile from my school. I mean, I guess it's still the country, the rural area, but yeah.
What area of the Delta was it?
Cleveland. Yep.
And where'd you go to high school?
Bio Academy. So spelled Bayou.
Yeah.
We pronounce it Bio.
Y'all had good basketball teams, right? Was it Bayou that had a good basketball team? Or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
So we had really good baseball teams probably about when you were in high school.
Okay.
And then that was kind of our staple was like baseball. And now it's kind of transitioning more to basketball. It's kind of weird how it went. So all throughout my high school career, we were like single A private school, whatever. And then,
so how many people are in your grade in single A?
I graduated with 27.
27.
But I was number one. That's what, when I tell people I was valedictorian, Laney's always like, "Yeah, but you graduated with like 10 people." I was like, "Yeah, so it's not that impressive." But, so yeah, and then my senior year, we got bumped up to double A, and that was like, oh boy. And now they're like in the same ranking as Hartfield. I think.
Oh wow, so that school's been growing.
Yeah.
Where most of the schools in the Delta have been getting smaller.
I think, Delta State kind of keeping Cleveland afloat, and then all the other Delta towns are kind of just converging on Cleveland.
So is Cleveland the city growing?
I don't know if it's growing or if it's just, I guess it's kind of growing. I mean, like my high school has gotten crazy since I left. So, I mean, it's got to be doing something. But yeah, it's definitely a lot different than when I was there, I feel like.
Tell me about the farm. Did your dad grow up on the farm too?
Yeah. So we didn't, I guess they didn't start farming until my dad was probably in college. I guess my dad kind of grew up around farming. My granddad was kind of always involved in it, but they didn't like go out on their own farming until he was in college. My dad really wanted to be an ag pilot. He grew up working on like at airstrips and stuff, flagging down airplanes. He said he used to like light bottle rockets and shoot them, and that's how they would like know where to land or something. So yeah, they I think they went out on their own farming in 87, something like that. My granddad said he got fired from his job. He said, "Man, I had a great job, I was the farm manager for this big plantation. It's called Dahomey Plantation. He's like, man, I had a company truck, all this stuff. And he said it went out of business. And so I got a year's salary. He said I had $16,000. And he said, and then I didn't have a truck. He said, and then, so I went out on my own farming. He said, and I made a crop my first year with $16,000 and no truck and one tractor.
Wow.
He said, I don't know how I did it. And then he said, I can tell you how I did it. I did a lot of walking.
He did. That's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
So he started that farm that your dad still doing it to this day?
Yeah. So both of them are.
What was that? Oh, they both do it together. Mm-hmm. What was that like growing up on the farm?
It taught me very early that is not what I wanted to do for a living. And even my parents were like, you're not going to farm. You're going to go to school, find a career. And if it doesn't work out, you can always, fall back on the farm if you want to. I knew early on, a bunch of kids in the Delta, they grow up and the farm is like their life. That's like fun for them. They go out, that's how they spend time with their dad and all that kind of stuff. And they, it's kind of playful, whatever. It was never like that for me. If I was out there, I was like getting put to work and I hated it. It was hot, I knew that like when we were out there, like we weren't playing, we were working.
What kind of work were you doing when you were young?
A lot of laying poly pipe. So poly pipe is a big plastic pipe that you roll out on the edge of the field and it's connected to a well. Water runs through it and you got to poke the holes in it to water like the rows of crops. And a roll of that stuff weighs like 300 pounds. And literally what you do is you hook it to the back of the tractor. Tractor has a plow on it, so it digs a ditch. So it lays in that ditch. And you walk behind it, and you literally just walk and throw dirt on it to make sure it stays in the ditch. And it is just monotonous and boring and hot.
Yeah.
And that's what I did every summer from the time I was like 12 until even in college when I was playing baseball. I remember Coach Kennison would call me and be like, "Hey, you on the farm right now?
Yeah.
Like, can you talk?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You probably hear the tractor in the background. A bunch of people are always like, "Oh yeah, but you got to drive the tractors and it's air conditioned, it's nice." I was like, I didn't get to drive a tractor. I was the one walking behind the tractor.
You got to work your way up to the tractor, right?
Yeah. And even like when I was in college, like growing up, the farm was my dad, my granddad, me, and like one other guy. You hear a bunch of people. It's like the big.
Operation.
Yeah, like a huge operation. They're bringing people from South Africa or wherever. Not us. It was small. I mean, we farmed a decent amount of acres, but like it was just us.
So you realized early on that you wanted to work in the air conditioning?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what my granddad always told me. He was like, you need to, you don't need to be doing this. Like, you need to go to school and find you a job in the air. And then when I finally got accepted into dental school, he was like, man, you sure you don't want to farm? I was like, yes, I'm positive.
What is growing up in the Delta culture? What is that different about growing up in other parts of the state or even other parts of the country that you carry with you today?
Man, the Delta's just kind of its own world. And I think if it wasn't for playing baseball in college, I probably would have stayed. Because it's just like its own bubble, and you don't really know what else is out there. And I remember when I started playing baseball, and it was all these people from all over the state, and like I just got exposed to so many different cultures and backgrounds of people and stuff. I was like, man, I might kind of want to get out of here and check things out. But yeah, it's just slower pace, I guess. Small. You say it's a small town. I guess it is, but it's not like tiny. It's a college town, but it's still just it's very different. The mindset is different.
In what way?
Like, I don't know anybody up there that goes to the gym every day like me, except my mom, which is kind of wild. She's always done that. But most people, just you go to work and then you come home and you go hunting.
Drink beer.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, tell me when baseball entered the picture.
So pretty much from the time I was a kid, my family loves sports. My mom's dad is in the Hall of Fame at the University of Wyoming for football and track. His brother, my great uncle, who I never met, he died before I was born. He is in the Hall of Fame at Mississippi State for baseball. I think he was maybe the first All-American they had or something, and he was on the first SEC championship team in like the 40s. And then my mom, she played basketball at Delta State. She was on a national championship team.
Oh, wow.
My great-granddad on my dad's side got drafted by the Cardinals as a pitcher, and then he ended up getting drafted into either World War II or Vietnam, I'm not sure, and so he never got to play. And so my family just freaking loves sports.
Yeah.
And so just early on, I played everything, and I was always so small. Baseball always felt right because it was like my dad would always tell me, you don't have to be big to be good at baseball. It's not like football or whatever. So yeah, played it since I could walk. I also found out at an early age that if I had a practice or a game or whatever, I could get off the farm early.
I'm going to play every sport y'all got.
Literally, I was like in the summer, I'd be like, I got to go to football weights. I can't, I got to leave earlier. I can't show up till 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, just grew up loving it, I guess.
Well, you're a big guy now. When did you hit your growth spurt?
Probably not till I got to college.
Really?
Probably my senior year of high school. My learner's permit said I was 5'2", 105.
Oh my gosh!
I was freaking tiny.
Wow.
Forever, and I was never like a guy that people were like, oh yeah, he's gonna go play baseball somewhere, or he's gonna be good at sports. I was always, I guess, pretty good, but I was never like the dude. Because I was so small, and then all of a sudden it was like, because I was long, lanky, skinny, weak, probably uncoordinated. My feet were probably the same size now when I was 12, and so it probably wasn't until like my senior year that I kind of grew, and everybody was like, "Oh, dang! Like he's not as lanky anymore." I think when I graduated high school, I was probably like 6'1", 160 or 155. So still not big, but compared to 5'2", 105.
That's quite a difference. Even though you were smaller, were you still wanting to play in the next level? Were you thinking about it at that time?
No.
Really?
Never. I always just thought I wasn't good enough, really. I'd never been talked to by any schools. Nobody, like I said, nobody was ever like, you're the dude, you need to go play. I'd always thought about it. My mom always says, when you were a kid, you always talked about you were going to go play baseball for Tennessee. I like the orange as like a young kid for some reason. And now I hate Tennessee. But yeah, I remember the first time a coach called me. It was Coach Edmondson from Mississippi Delta, which is where I ended up going straight out of high school. It was after a football game my senior year. We had lost, and so I remember I scored a touchdown to tie it, and then it got called back, and then we ended up, there was like 2 minutes left, and we drove down, scored again, and all we had to do was kick the extra point to win. It was like 10 seconds left, or to tie. And we missed freaking extra point. So we lost by 1 point. And I remember I was walking out of the locker room and get a call from the number. And he's like, hey, Weber, we got a showcase tomorrow. We want you to come to it. And I was like, man, all right. Like, yeah, heck yeah. And I remember he asked me, he said, do you want to play college baseball? And I had never even thought about it.
Really?
I'd always just heard, man, it's a job. You know, you got like, it's not fun anymore. And so I told him, I was like, you know, I don't know. I was just being honest. I didn't know. And so I went to the showcase, did the whole thing. And like at the end, they call everybody's number. Like, you know, if we call your number, we want you to stay and we'll talk to you and maybe, I guess, offer or whatever. And they didn't call my number. And so I stood around. I was like, man, you know, they called me, wanting me to be here. And I waited and waited, and nobody talked to me. And I was so mad. Mm-hmm. I just remember coming home and it was like hunting season. I like wasting my Saturday.
Yeah.
I remember coming home and telling people like, I'll never go play there. Like I can't believe they did that to me. You know, whatever. And then fast forward to the end of my senior year. And like I said, I was a valedictorian, and we're 4 days from graduation, and I have no idea where I'm going to college. Didn't have a clue. Had never even thought about it, which is weird. I was always just like the next thing, the next sport. That's always what was on my mind. And then we like get to graduation. I'm like, dude, like I don't know. Like everybody's like, oh, I'm going to Mississippi State, going to Ole Miss. I'd never even been to like Oxford or Starkville, probably. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe go to Delta State or something. And my coach got me a tryout at Northwest Community College. So I went, did the whole tryout, get to the end of it, and the guy's like, yeah, I mean, you could play at this level, just not here. And
really?
and I was like, man, like, what am I even doing? Like, I'm obviously not even good enough to or big enough or whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. And then the next day, my coach calls me and he's like, hey, Mississippi Delta wants you to come to their showcase tomorrow. And I was like, dude, like I've already done this. Like they already did this. They didn't want me. And my coach, he was like, you know, just do it for me. Do it for me. And I was like, okay. So I went and I go to the sign in, and they're like, you know, what'd you bat this year? And I think I batted like 450 or something, which in 2A private school isn't that impressive. I hit 0 home runs, probably like 5 doubles at most. And the one thing I could always do is run. I was always really fast. So I ran a really good 60, and then came time for the outfielder to throw to third, throw from right field to third. And I just remember being so mad. I was like,
you just took it all out on
I was like, I'm so sick of people, you know, telling me whatever, I'm not good enough. And so the first one they hit to me, I fielded it in right field, and I throw it as hard as I could, sail it over third base, over the dugout, and I hit the coach's truck. And he was like, that's my truck. And I just remember thinking, good. like that's what y'all get. And then the rest of my throws were fine. And I remember we got done, and he was like, you know, pitchers go to the bullpen, hitters get ready to hit. And I was like, yeah, do y'all want me to throw a bullpen? He was like, sure. So I got on there, and I threw a really good bullpen. It was the same thing. I was like, I'm just going to throw it as hard as I can, like whatever. And they, like, as soon as I got done with my bullpen, they offered me on the spot.
Wow.
And I just remember him saying, like, you're really good. We want you. And I was just like, nobody has ever told me that. I was like, I was like, where do I sign?
Yeah.
like, give me the paper. So that was really cool.
A couple thoughts I had. It sounded like your high school coach was really going to bat for you.
Oh yeah.
Have you talked to him about that?
Mm-hmm. We're super close, me and him. I know you've asked people before, like, who had a big impact on you? Him.
Really?
Like,
what was y'all's relationship like?
Me and him are a lot alike. He went and he played at MC, he played at Mississippi Delta and then MC. Smaller guy, you know, just kind of a dirtbag player, fast outfielder. He made me an outfielder, basically. And he, like I said, we were so much alike. You know, he taught me how to be mentally tough. You know, just how to deal with adversity, how to win, basically how to find a way to win even when you're small, outmatched, whatever. So yeah, besides my parents, he for sure had the most impact on me out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
If he'd have told me, go hit that brick wall as many times as you can and see how long it takes you to run through it, I would have done it.
Mm. You know, having been through that baseball process, you realize like baseball, there's so much to getting recruited in who you know and who's going to bat for you, whether it's college or even pro. You know, if you get a guy that's going to bat for you, they're going to give you a shot. And it sounded like he was like calling the junior college, say, I want you to get Weber. And he had probably talked him into taking a hard look at you without you realizing it. And then
sure,
you threw the ball over the backstop. I'd always heard that guys would do that at tryouts or showcases on purpose.
Really?
Yeah, like they would throw it over the backstop on purpose just to show how strong their arm is.
Look, pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if they mean to hit the guy's truck. That's
I didn't even know it was back there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even know I hit it until I got done throwing, and my buddy who was there, he's like, dude, you hit his truck. And he was like, I was feeding him balls, and he was like, that's my freaking truck. And I was, and then I was like, good. They deserve it. They made me mad.
So you mentioned that that was the first time that anybody had said they wanted you. How did that hit you?
Hard. It was weird, man. Like I said, I was like growing up, I was always like just average, small. I remember like I could probably go through 100 stories like this, but in 6th grade, Pee Wee football, I played quarterback because I was the only one smart enough to remember all the plays. And then I got to 7th grade, and like we had spring football tryouts, which they weren't even tryouts. Everybody made the team, and they were like, all right, we're going to, try you out at quarterback. And the ball was like so much bigger than my hand. I remember I dropped back to throw like a slant, and I threw a slider. Like, it literally spun sideways. And they were like, yeah, you're a receiver. You need to go over here in this line.
Is that what you played the rest of your career as a receiver?
Yeah. Yep. And so then fast forward to like my 8th grade year, and my best friend is the quarterback, and I'm playing receiver, and we probably had like 15 people on the team. So I played, but like I was just kind of out there. And we're beating this team like 50-0. And I remember the coach calls into play, such and such pass, throw it to Weber. I remember I was the one running in the play. Like I said, my best friend's the quarterback. So I like call the play, and they're like, all right, whatever. Say hut. I run my route, and I turn around, and the ball is being launched on the other side of the field and score a touchdown. Wasn't thrown to me. And so it was just like stuff like that all the time, because I was so small. I was just like, I guess, overlooked. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But never bothered me, I guess, until I felt like it needed to bother me. Mm-hmm. I was just always like, whatever. Mm-hmm. I am who I am.
Yeah. And then you kind of snapped, and then somebody finally accepted you. And
yeah.
What was that transition like going into junior college baseball?
Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, AA private school, if we saw 85, it was like, holy cow. We were seeing like 78 to 81 normally. And I remember my first fall game, we went and played MC, and dude's throwing like probably 88 and just blowing it by me. And I was like, boy, I am not ready for this. And it almost felt like that every year. And so I just worked really hard in the off season, because I was like, I have nothing else. I have to be good at baseball. I got to find a way to play. And so that's just what I did. Just adapted, I guess.
So how many years were you at the junior college? 2. And how did that go? How did your career go for those 2 seasons?
It was fine. Nothing spectacular. Glimpses of greatness here and there, I guess you'd say. Greatness in quotes. My sophomore year was really hard on me, because I was dating Lainey. She was at Delta State, and I really wanted to go to Delta State. And my 2 roommates, one signed with Mississippi State, the other one signed with Southeastern Louisiana, and they killed it all year, and I did not. So the first 2 weeks of the season, I started out really good my sophomore year. And Coach Kennison called me at Delta State. He's like, hey, I hear you've been doing good, and we're going to send somebody to watch you. And that day, I remember seeing the coach in the stands, and coach comes up to us before the game's like, all right, you can no longer use your bats. We got sponsored by Marucci. You have to use these Marucci bats. And I'd never hit with one, whatever. And I went 0 for 7 with 3 strikeouts with them watching. And Kennison never called again. Nobody. And so that just like mentally drained me. And meanwhile, every night my roommate's getting called by LSU, State, Ole Miss. And so I struggled most of my sophomore year. And then finally, the last 2 weeks of the season, I was like, I think my mom made me go to church. she was like, you're doing something. And like,
ask for forgiveness. Or
yeah,
something.
you got to figure something out. And it was weird. It was like the preacher was talking to me. It was kind of like just let go and trust, God in your future. And so I did. In the last 2 weeks, I kind of lit it up again because I was just like, I'm not playing anymore after this. I'm just going to enjoy my 2 weeks. And a couple weeks after the season ended, I was at the beach and I didn't know where. It was kind of the same thing as high school. Didn't know where I was going next year. And Kennison called me and offered me while I was at the beach.
Wow.
Mainly, I think it's a favor, just because he knew me and he knew like how hard I would work. Like we went to the same church, so he knew me from like a kid.
Okay.
But yeah, I think his assistants were probably telling him like, don't waste your time on this kid, but he kind of did it out of kindness, I guess. I really don't know.
You saw you at church saying, "What am I doing?"
Yeah. I swear he probably did. He was probably like, "Well, at least this guy's going to church. He's not playing very well."
Yeah.
So yeah. Once I made it there, I was like, "All right, like this will be it." I never planned to play past there.
What'd that feel like when he called you and offered you?
Man, like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Yeah. I remember calling my parents and Laney. And I was just like, thank the Lord, basically. I'm have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And I don't have to quit playing. So that was nice.
And then how did you transition into Delta State? What were those last couple of years like?
My junior year, going into my junior year, they were bringing back a World Series team, like the full team minus maybe 2 pitchers. And so I was one of 2 or 3 JUCO transfers, and then we had a couple freshmen. We like had very few new people, and it was known when I got there, like, you're not going to play, you're just here, whatever. I remember going to my first, like, in the fall you have like skill sessions. You can't do like full team practice. I remember going to my outfield practice, and the GA or the assistant or whatever is just all over me, and I'm like, dude, I'm a good outfielder and I'm better than these guys, but you were just killing me out here. Just because he knew them and he knew that I was not going to be the one playing. So my junior year, I was a backup to an All-American. I hit like 18 bombs and 14 doubles or something, batted like 380. I would go in and steal bases and play defense and late in the game. And so I knew going into my senior year, I was like, I've got to do whatever I can to play. So I didn't mention I tore my UCL pitching in JUCO, so I just played outfield after that. I went and I started throwing bullpens. I was like,
whatever I can do to get on the field.
Yeah, so I was working out every day. I would go work out in the mornings at like 5 a.m. I'd go to the farm. I'd work till about 3. Then I'd come back and I'd go to a hitting lesson from 3 to 4, and then I would either throw a bullpen or long toss from like 4 to 5 or something. And just, working myself to the bone, and ended up getting a hernia, so I couldn't do anything for the fall. Talk about devastated. I was like, man, I remember I had to go tell Kennison that I had a hernia and was having to have surgery, and I wouldn't be able to play in the fall, and he was not happy. And then I didn't get cleared till probably December. Same thing. Went right back to that routine, like, work out. At least I wasn't farming then. I would like work out, go hit, go long toss, and then maybe go hunting. But I really didn't hunt much, which is saying a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember I came back and our first inter squad, I'm cleared. I've been, like I said, going to these hitting lessons every day, hitting great. And man, my timing was just so off. I hadn't seen a pitch in a year. I think I struck out like 3 times. I was like, I'm terrible again. I was like, I'm never going to play. This is so terrible. I remember I went home and I'm just in the shower and I'm just begging God. I'm like, what do you want from me? Like I'm trying so hard and I'm just, nothing's working. I was like I'm like, please just like help me hit the ball. And then it was weird. Our last 3 inter squads, before the season started, I hit a home run in every inter squad, several doubles. It was like you couldn't get me out. And I started opening day. And I was like, wow. I mean, thank you, Lord.
Wow. That's awesome. It seems like you hit that point quite a few times of just like throwing your hands up and just like getting angry. I don't know what to do or whatever. And every time you kind of bounced right out of it and came back stronger. How did that carry you out through the rest of that year?
I had a good year. I don't know my numbers, but I started pretty much every day. We won our conference tournament, won our regional, and we got beat by the national champions in the super regional. So I mean, we had a good year, and we were not super talented. We're probably one of the least talented teams Delta State's ever had. Like I said, we lost the whole World Series team from the year before, from my junior year. They all were seniors and left, and so every one of us were new starters. And man, we were just dirt bags. We just were hard to beat. Hated to lose. I think we went like 42-14.
Wow.
And we lost 6 of those games in 1 week. So we spent most of the year at like number 1 in the nation. And boy, we hit a slump for 2 weeks, and we lost a weekend series 2 out of 3. And then we lost a midweek to a HBCU that won like 3 games all year. And then we lost our next weekend series. And so yeah, we lost like 6 games out of our total 14, going all the way to super regional in 1 or 2 weeks.
Wow. What was it like playing for Coach Kennison?
I loved it.
You either love him or you hate him.
Love it or yeah. I think my mindset towards him was like he gave me a shot, and so I didn't care. Man, he yells and he is whatever. But my granddad yells on the farm. My dad yells on the farm. I was used to it. Yeah. He never scared me. He's intimidating, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And trying to perform with him breathing down your neck every day at practice is really hard. But he made me better.
Yeah.
I think he just kind of, playing for him made me realize how important it is to just be locked in every day. And it really just changed my mindset towards baseball. I can't even go watch a baseball game without, it's like a switch flips in my mind when I step out there. It's like I can't speak. I'm just like,
just locked in.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I told you I went to Delta State camp when I was in high school, and that was the only baseball camp I went to, and I went to a lot of camps where we had a station where we practiced getting hit by a pitch.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And I think the counselors were like arguing over who was going to be get the one to peg the kids.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, let me peg these little brats today.
Oh yeah. I had to work those camps, and we do the same thing. It's so funny. Man, he is one of a kind, but there's a reason he won so many games.
Yeah, and if you didn't run into the cage, he'd yell at you until you get out. And you had to run out of the cage, and he'd throw right-handed and turn around and throw left-handed. And it's a whole nother world, man.
I hit him one day in the cage. So my first day at practice, I know Coach Kennison. I know how he is. I went to all the camps growing up. I knew, like, I'm smart enough to know, like, you run in the cage, you do all the stuff. my first day of practice, it's my turn to hit. I run in the cage and get up there, and he just starts chewing me out, I guess just to set the tone.
There's nothing you can do that's going to keep you from getting yelled at.
Yeah, and he's like, he called me Sunshine. He's like, get in the cage and get ready to hit, Sunshine. He's, I don't remember what he said. But I'm like, man, like, I know I am. I ran. But then one day I remember this would have been my senior year, and I hit a line drive, smoked it, and it hit him right in the shoulder. And he just turned around. He just kind of like flexed and then turned right back around and started throwing again. like I know it hurt.
He wasn't going to let you have that satisfaction.
Absolutely not. He's one of a kind.
Well, looking back on your baseball career now, how do you feel about how it all played out?
I think I'm proud. Just because I think if younger me could see my career, he'd be proud, which is cool.
Yeah, because you didn't even think you were going to play in college, and then you end up getting to play at an incredible school and be number one in the nation for a while and get to start almost every game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So what was that like when that last game was done?
I was almost relieved, which is weird. It ended and it didn't feel like it was over, but I was almost happy it was over. And looking back on it, I miss it every day. But I just felt like I had given so much and sacrificed so much. I was like, I feel like it's time to turn the page. I knew that I wasn't going to play pro. I might could have played some indie ball just because I had some tools, but I knew that I wasn't good enough to do anything with it. So I was like, maybe it'll be nice for a change to just hang out and hunt and do all the things I like to do. And then after like 2 years, I was like, man, this sucks. I was like, I need something. Like I miss it. So I need some kind of like something competitive, something to do.
Need some juice.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that until, like I said, probably a year or two after it was over.
Yeah. Well, what was your major at Delta State?
So I majored in math. So I got my associate's degree at Mississippi Delta, took all my basic classes. When I got to Delta State, I was like, okay, I'm going to major in chemistry because maybe I'll go to dental school.
Where did that idea come from?
One of my best friend's dads was a dentist, and he always pushed me towards it. He liked to hunt a lot, and so he was like, "You really need, it's a good career. You need to look into it.
You don't have to work Fridays."
Yeah. And
you work 4 days a week.
Yeah,
get to hunt a lot.
And so he kind of pushed me towards it, and I really didn't know. Like I said, I was always just like, "What's next? What's next?" I never really thought too deep in the future. For a while there, I was like, maybe I'll be a physical trainer because I like sports, or maybe I bounced around with a few things. Dental school was always there, but I wasn't ever sure. I didn't know what a dentist did. I honestly don't think I knew until I got to dental school what a dentist does.
Really? Did you not go to the dentist growing up?
I've never had a cavity.
Really?
So I always went, but I was like, I get my teeth clean, and he walks in there and is like, you're good.
Yeah.
And that's it. I was like, if that's all you do, like,
this is pretty easy.
Yeah. So anyway, I got to Delta State, and I was going to major in chemistry, and the guy was like, well, all you have left is like classes with labs, and they're all in the afternoon, and you can't play baseball and go to these afternoon labs. So I'll just change my major to math. I like math. Terrible decision.
Yeah.
Dude, those higher level math classes are hard.
Yeah.
There's like no numbers. But literally there's no numbers. It's all letters and symbols and stuff. But I majored in math, minored in chemistry, and then applied to dental school and didn't get in my first try. So I was like, well, I'll just finish my chemistry degree. So I ended up getting a math and a chemistry degree.
So you stayed at Delta State another year and weren't playing at that time.
Right.
Just a student.
Yep. And that really sucked because I was like, man, I'm going to school and I'm not even getting to play baseball. But
what'd you do with all your free time?
Hunted. And worked on the freaking farm.
Yeah. Knowing how much time, playing college sports is like a full-time job in itself outside of the class. So going from doing that to all of a sudden you're just in school, that's a lot of free time.
Opened up. A ton. I hunted a bunch.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, I worked on the farm in the summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the winter, that's like all I did was I'd go to class and I'd go hunt,
Mm-hmm.
go hunting, or I'd go hunting and then I'd go to class, which was nice.
So you did that for a year, and then did you reapply and get in the next time?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like when you found out you got in?
Felt really good after I got told no the first time.
Yeah.
I really didn't. So, like I said, I was valedictorian in high school, and I had a 4.0 at Delta State, and played baseball and did all the extracurriculars and all that stuff. And so I was like, there's no way I don't get in. And then I didn't get in, and I was like, wow, okay. So really good, really cool. Like I said, I was a valedictorian in high school, so school was never a problem. I had a 4.0 all through Delta State while playing baseball, so I was like, there's no way I don't get in. And then when I applied and I didn't get in, it kind of opened my eyes. I was like, that's kind of crazy. And so finished my chemistry degree, kept a 4.0, finally got in, and I was like, wow, life is about to change. About to move to Jackson. I'd never been out of Cleveland, or never been out of the Delta. Even in college, Mississippi Delta Community College was 42 minutes from my parents' house.
Yeah. And how far was Delta State from your parents' house?
5
minutes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Nowhere. So yeah, that was when I got accepted. I was like, I'm going to be moving to Jackson. At that point, me and Laney had been dating for 6 or 7 years, I guess. Well, maybe not that long, 5 or 6 years. I was like, well, I might ought to start thinking about getting married. I was like, we're going to be in the same town. We did long distance for a while. And I was like,
where was she living at that time?
She was down here.
Down here.
That's actually when I started CrossFit, because I was like, I'm going to need a hobby while I'm in dental school. So yeah, we did the long distance thing for a couple of years, because she's a year older than me. And so when she got done with nursing school, she moved back down here. So we probably did 3 years of longer distance.
How was that?
It was fine. We both are good about needing our free time. And I wanted to hunt, and we'd see each other on the weekends or whatever, but it was fine. It wasn't anything. We never had any problems or nothing.
What was that transition like in the dental school?
Hard.
Yeah.
Tim Bell said it on his episode. It was so weird to me when I got to dental school and nobody cared that I played a sport. Nobody cared. I was honestly the oddball. Like, when you're playing sports and stuff, like, people know you, and people want to talk to you, and it's just like, you're involved, and so people and all that kind of stuff. And then when I got to dental school, it was almost like people didn't like me because I did that. I was just looked at different, because like everybody is so smart and they're so academically minded that like there's not many athletes that come through there. And so I was like the oddball. And that was really strange for me. And even like while I'm there, I'm doing CrossFit, and I'm like, just being active and doing stuff. And that was just like unheard of. Most people, it's like, because dental school is 8 to 5. And that was extremely hard for me to sit in a classroom from 8 to 5, and then you go straight home and study. That was terrible. That's why I had to start doing CrossFit. I was like, I got to move. I gotta do something to fix my brain, like just to give me some relief.
Well, it makes sense if you grew up on a farm. You're used to being outside and moving and playing sports, and all of a sudden you're cooped up all day. Where'd you start doing CrossFit?
When I got into dental school, I told my high school baseball coach, I said, all right, I'll find out in about 2 days if I get into dental school. If I get in, I'll do a Spartan race with you. He does Spartan races. He's done like 100-mile races and 24-hour races and stuff. And so like I said, we're so much alike. We just like doing hard stuff. And I was like, I'll do a Spartan race with you. And I got in, started training, did the Spartan race. And then I was like, okay, I'm about to go to dental school. I'm going to need a hobby. And Lainey had always tried to get me to do CrossFit. You know, her family, they all did CrossFit. And I didn't want to do it. I was like, I stayed hurt all in college. I don't want to get hurt again. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. And started working out at Unrated Fitness in Cleveland for probably 3 months. And I guess mainly it started because I was like, well, we're getting married. I might ought to try to get in shape
for the wedding,
or whatever. And then when I moved down here, they went to Flowwood, Coyote, so that's where I went. Been there ever since.
Kind of scratched that competitive itch that you were missing.
Absolutely.
That's one thing that I've talked about with so many people, and people that grew up playing team sports especially, they miss that camaraderie of, going to practice and working together to a common goal. And this can kind of fill that and also be the competitive aspect. And then you get all the health benefits of it and you feel good. And, when I opened Coyote, we had a lot of dental school guys because one of my roommates was dental school. I had like 4 or 5 different roommates that all went to dental school. It was weird. I cycle all these guys coming through dental school. I feel like I knew like half the dentists in town because of it. And they were all coming and working out. And for them, it was a way to do something physical and an escape of, because they would be, like you said, cooped up all day. So a lot of them would go before or they'd come after. So how did that help you deal with that stress and all that mental load that you're doing during that period of dental school?
It was really just nice to decompress.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just didn't stress as much about everything as everybody else. I think that decompression and that just deload at the end of the day made it easier on me to go home and study instead of just being so mentally overwhelmed by what you learned all day and then having to go try to learn more when you get home. I don't know that I could have survived without it. Just because I'm so wired that way. So yeah, I'm very thankful I started.
What was the hardest part of dental school?
That the being cooped up from it. It's just they describe it as like sticking your face up to a fire hose, like with information. And
Marty referred to law school that way.
Yeah. Well, I've actually heard people say like, oh yeah, I loved law school. I've never heard anybody say I love dental school. No offense, because I don't know anything about law school. But yeah, it was so hard to just sit there from 8 to 5. And you'd go through 250 slides in an hour of information, and then it's like they expect you to know it by the next week. I remember some of our tests would be like on 1,800 slides worth of info. It's like a 50-question test. Like how do you study for that? And then it's just all day and there's no end. It's like your first 2 years, you're basically in med school. And then your last 2 years, it's med school on top of dental school. And so it's just so much information at one time. It's like, I heard a dentist tell me one time, he's like, you think, like, you don't know how you could ever retain that much info, and then you just do it. And here I am somehow. I've probably forgotten over half of it, honestly, that I learned.
What's the attrition rate?
What do you mean?
Like people falling out?
So they really try to not let people fall out. They used to. I think Mississippi is so hurting for dentists that they try to push you through.
They're really helping you out.
Yeah.
How many did you come in with, and how many did you leave with?
Came in with 40, left with came in with 40 and left with 40, but we actually gained an extra, and then one person got held back.
So you traded somebody?
So, yeah.
Is that a normal size 40? So you end up being pretty close with the people in your class, I bet.
Yep. It's kind of weird how close you get with them. Like,
I'm sure.
When you spend all day from 8 to 5 with somebody, like, everything about them, it's like the people you sit next to, it's like you sit next to them in every class almost. So our class was super close. Like, we went on like vacations together, like the class, guys and girls. It was just like everybody was like a family. It was kind of, it reminded me a lot of playing like a college sport, like a team, except everybody was out to get everybody else.
Yeah,
sometimes.
There's a lot of competition, I'm sure. Do they have like the ranking system and everything?
Mm-hmm.
When do you start kind of figuring out where you're going to go for your work?
I think you can whenever. A lot of people are so worried about just graduating. They just kind of sign the first contract they get. My fourth year, I spent every Friday. I would work extremely hard to get all my stuff done Monday through Thursday, see all my patients, do all my stuff. And then every Friday, I was going around and meeting with folks, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to work, all that kind of stuff.
Is it pretty much a guarantee that once you're done, you're going to get a job somewhere? It just depends on, because there's so many dental needs. What different options were you considering then?
I really didn't want to go work for somebody. I didn't want to be an associate.
Why not?
Growing up on a farm.
Freedom.
Yes. So just being on the farm, working for my dad, my granddad, I felt like I had no control. It was always, go do this and don't ask why. And my dad always told me, he was like, there's two types of people in the world. There's people who tell people what to do, and there's people who do what they're told. That's what he would always tell me on the farm. And he said, right now, you're somebody who does what they're told. And I did not want to be that. I wanted, which even as an associate, as a dentist, you got freedom and whatnot, but I wanted to have the control to build my future. I wanted to feel like I was growing something of my own. I guess maybe because I never had that on the farm. I never was working towards a goal. It was always just like, do what you're told, and you get paid $5 for it. And so I wanted that control to have my own something that's mine, and I can grow it. And if it fails, it's on me. And if it thrives, it's on me.
So how did you end up landing on what you're doing now?
A lot of praying, kind of like the rest of my life. It's like I got to graduation, and I at this point I'd kind of planned on buying that office, but I didn't know. You do a rotation your fourth year with an actual office, and one of the reps who sells like the equipment and stuff came, and he was like, hey, anybody that might want to buy an office? And I was like, yeah, me. Where is it? And he told me it was in Forest, and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go to Forest. But I kind of looked at the numbers and went and met them, and it fit, weirdly enough. And like I said, I've been praying about it forever. Like, honestly, with everything in my life, I've just prayed and prayed and prayed, and then it ends up working out.
Wow.
And I don't know that that's the same.
Where does that faith come from?
Man, as a young kid, one of the chapters in the book is called Why. I think as a young kid, I always have just questioned everything, and grew up in church. And I think I was like 7 or 8, and I just remember like I started questioning my mom, like, how do we know that this is real? How do we know whatever? And she was like, all right, you're going to go meet with the preacher.
I don't know, but I got somebody you can talk to.
Yeah. And so I did, and got saved. And man, ever since then, I've just had a really strong faith.
Really?
And maybe it's because I just put so much of my life and my faith in it. If I had a problem, I always just prayed about it, and then it always ended up working out.
You have a lot of evidence.
Yeah, and so I've always just kept that, and like I said, it always just played. And with the practice, like I said, I prayed about it for months, and then come to find out they had also been praying about it for months, about finding somebody to come take over and buy it from them. So
were these older guys that were ready to retire?
Yeah.
How long had they been had that practice?
75 years.
Oh my gosh.
So their dad had it, for most of it, and then they took over, and they worked there for 40.
Were these brothers?
Yep, 2 brothers. One retired right before I came on, and then the other one just retired 2 or 3 months ago.
Wow.
So it's just me now. And so I thought that was really cool that I had been praying about it, and they had been praying about it. And
so it felt like that was the right thing. Well, how was that purchase process straight off school and trying to figure out how to value and purchase a business?
So like I said, I was a math major, so I'm good with numbers, and the numbers made sense to me. I remember I called my parents, and I was like, I need to buy this office. And they were like, what do you know about buying an office or whatever? And I was like, I've gone through the numbers. Just look at it. I think it's right. And my dad was like, why the heck would you want to be in Forest? You know, like all the questions. And I had been telling them, and then we took the numbers to like their accountant, the farm's accountant, and he was like, you need to buy this. And he's like, it just makes too much sense. And that's when my parents kind of got on board, like, okay, maybe you do know like what you're talking about a little bit. And honestly, the dental school pushes you away from that. They don't want you to buy straight out of school. They tell you you're not ready. You don't know anything about running a business. And I didn't. I don't. But
nobody does until they do it.
With anything, you know, when are you ready for anything? I remember my high school baseball coach. He was giving us a speech before maybe a big game. I don't remember. And he was talking about David and Goliath. And so obviously we weren't probably not supposed to beat this team or something.
Hopefully he's not referring to y'all as Goliath. Yeah.
No, yeah. And so I just remember him saying, and I'd heard the story my whole life, but I'd never heard it told like this. In the Bible, it says David ran. Like when he went to face Goliath, he ran at him. He didn't walk out there. He wasn't scared. He ran right at it. And so ever since he told me that, like anytime if I'm scared or nervous or any kind of adversity shows up or whatever, I'm like, I'm just going to do it. Just because, like I said, when are you ready for anything? Like, how do you can sit around your whole life and wait to be ready, and you might never be. Like, just do it. And it's like, just jump right into it and pray a lot, probably.
Yeah, and that's what David did too.
Yeah.
So you went right at it. How long ago was that you purchased it?
July 1st of last year, so a year and a month.
What's this transition been like this year?
It's been really good. I have a really good staff. Like, it's been a lot of trial by fire, a lot of stuff that I didn't know or maybe still don't know about running a business. A lot of things like even that dental school doesn't prepare you for when people come in with certain problems. It's like, man, I don't know how to handle that. And so, I mean, just a lot of growth, really. I think it's been really good. I've learned a ton, and I've really enjoyed it, which is nice.
That's awesome. So you plan on sticking around for a long time doing that, huh?
Yep.
Putting your roots in forest, huh?
Nah, I don't know about that. Maybe 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever move there. They keep asking me, but I don't think I'll ever move there. I got too much here.
Yeah. Well, you're still pretty close to there where you live, right?
Yeah. It's like right now it's probably like 45 or 50 minutes. We're hoping to move a little closer, make it more like 30.
Well, you get plenty of time to listen to the Hunter Owen podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I've listened to every episode just about.
I love it. All right, let's switch gears and talk about your hunting passion. So I read your book. You're obviously very deeply passionate about hunting.
Absolutely.
When did that start?
As a kid, my dad and granddad, that's all they did was hunt. They grew up in the country, like way more country than I grew up. And so that's all they had to do. I mean, heck, they probably just did it for food most of the time. I don't know. And just that's what you do up there. Is hunt. And so as a kid, like ever since I could walk, my dad has been taking me hunting. And honestly, I think the book really tells my story of how I grew and how things changed. But that's really just all I've ever known. It's like sports and hunting. I've never not done that. Like I said, in the book, like when the fall came around, I wasn't going to Starkville and Oxford to watch football games. I was going to the woods and either going hunting or doing something involving hunting. And honestly, I think my dad probably did that to keep me out of trouble.
Yeah.
He was always, every Saturday morning, he'd wake me up at like, this is before hunting season, like 6 a.m. And he'd be like, all right, get up. We're going to plant food plots. We're going to move stands. We're going to fool with cameras. And we'd go and we'd, as a family, stay at my cabin. And so it was like I didn't have any choice to not get in trouble. I was just always with them. So, yeah.
Do you think it was the fact that you were getting to do all this stuff with your dad, or do you think you're just naturally drawn to the woods?
Probably a little of both. I still, it's just spending time with my dad. Every time I go up there, we're mostly together, or just in the woods. We're mostly doing stuff together. We're always texting about it. We're sending pictures of deer and talking about where we need to move cameras or move stands or how we're going to do this.
So y'all hunt the same place now? Where is it?
It is basically directly west of Cleveland on the Mississippi River.
Okay.
It's a big hunting club. So yeah, we're in another hunting club all growing up, and then we transitioned to the one we're in now in 2019. And they're nowhere from each other, 5-10 miles probably.
How many people are in these hunting clubs?
Maybe 50.
Okay.
And it's mostly families and stuff. The one we're in now is ginormous. It's 13,000 acres, so it's a lot of room to roam, which is good for me because I like to roam.
What does hunting give you that you don't get at other places?
Man, I really don't know. There is so much. There is competition in hunting. I don't think I view it like that. But I think something hunting gave me as a kid that maybe I never got. Like I said, in sports, nobody was ever like, man, you're really good. Like, you're, whatever. Like, I never really got, like, praised a lot for sports, I guess, maybe. Or maybe as much as I wanted to or something. I don't know. But hunting, like, if I killed a big deer, older people would always just, like, praise me and give me that I was missing out on, I guess. And so, like, the accomplishment of killing a big deer just became something that just I loved. And then as I got older and I started putting in all the work and doing all this stuff, and then bow hunting, the accomplishments just kept growing, and now it's gotten to a point where, like, I do it for myself, and I just, like, love it.
Yeah, you talked about how you were drawn to bow hunting pretty young, and you only bow hunt now. What's the reason for that?
I think it just I don't know, when you spend so much time out there and you're hunting a certain deer, it doesn't feel right. Something about shooting them with a rifle hundreds of yards away, the accomplishment just doesn't feel as good to me. And to each their own. Like, I mean, I rifle hunted forever, killed a bunch of deer with a rifle younger. I think maybe that's just where I'm at in my hunting career. It just feels, you feel the accomplishment of killing one at, 10 steps with a bow, where there's so much margin for error. It just makes a reward that much better to me.
Well, reading your book, and you're talking about your whole process, and obviously you think very deeply about it, and you have spent a whole lot of time on it, obsessed, the ultimate addiction,
Yeah.
It would make sense that you would be drawn to a way of hunting where it's more about, I'm going to find this one deer, and it's more of a game and like me versus the deer type thing. And that's the way you look at it, as opposed to, I'm just going to go sit in the woods and hope a deer comes out and then I'm going to shoot it,
Yep.
So that it makes sense that you would be drawn to the hardest variation, the most intimate variation, the most in tune with, I guess how things used to be.
Yep.
When did you decide you wanted to write a book?
I guess about this time last year, I never thought I would write a book. Never thought I would care to. And a buddy of mine, I was talking to him on the phone, and we actually got to hunt together at a different place last year. So we played together at Delta State, and so we've been really close ever since then. But we got to hunt at we got in a little smaller club with him, and he would ask me all these questions because he didn't really grow up hunting like I did, and so he'd always ask me these questions, and I'd answer them and tell him why. And one day he was just like, "You need to write a book," and I was like, "Why? Why would I write a book?" And I was like, "What would I even talk about in the book?" And he was like, "Just write down everything you tell me. I think it would be good." And so it was, I guess, hunting season. I'm sitting in the stand, and I obviously wasn't seeing anything or was bored or something. My mind just started wandering. I was like, if I wrote a book, what would I even say? And I got to thinking, like, what would I want it to be about or be like? And I was like, I don't want it to be about me or, to be like, oh, I've killed these deer or whatever. I was like, I think it'd be cool if it was a little bit educational, maybe give some facts that maybe people didn't know. And then I was like, maybe I'll just talk about like why I do what I do. And when I started typing, it was just like everything just came to me at once. And it was like I already knew the next chapter and the next chapter and the next chapter. And then I was like, I'm 60 pages in. I was like, golly, I almost have a book.
Wow.
I was like, this is crazy.
So tell me about the process. You told me you wrote it on your phone.
Yeah. So 90% of it was written in the Notes app on my phone while I was hunting. And then I would, type it all out as I thought of it. Go at night, I'd be like at home and I'd read it and then I'd make adjustments to it or whatever. And then when I got to work on Monday, I would email it to myself and paste it into Word and just kept it as a document and just keep emailing it to myself, back and forth to myself so I'd have it. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much how it came about.
When'd you finish it?
I think January.
And what was the publication process like?
It's really easy. I went through Amazon. Amazon makes it easy. You basically just upload your cover and your manuscript, and they print it and ship it and do all the stuff. It was a lot of trial and error with the cover and with formatting the pages and stuff. So I have a ton of like demo copies at the house, but really, honestly, it was easy. And a bunch of people keep telling me, they're like, man, I'm going to, give some books to your dad and I'm going to buy some. And I'm like, I don't even have them. They're on Amazon. You got to buy them through Amazon. So, but yeah, it's been really cool seeing. I've had a bunch of people text me and tell me that they enjoyed it, which is awesome.
How does it feel to be a published author?
Weird. I don't feel like I'm an author.
Yeah.
People keep saying that. Laney's like, people keep asking me how it feels to be married to an author. And I'm like, am I really an author? I just wrote what I know. I don't feel like I came up with anything
but that's
special.
all authors do is write what they know.
I guess, and that's what I told somebody the other day. I was like, I thought to myself, like, who am I to write a book? But then I'm like, who is anybody to write a book? I guess.
Are you going to write another one?
I don't know.
Yeah.
People keep asking me that too. I have no idea. They're like, I hope you do. I'm like, well, maybe if I can come up with something to write, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I finished it this week, and I'll say, number one, I was very impressed by how deeply you think about your craft and how serious you take it, and how you were able to convey that into the book. So it was really cool. Also, it made me realize, like, I have no desire to hunt.
Yeah. This sounds way too, dude.
Especially, sitting out in the woods all day and all that type of stuff. But here, I brought the book so you can see it on camera, and I brought a pen. I want you to sign it for me.
All right. And well, I brought you a shirt.
Thank you, sir. This is the shirt you have on.
Yep.
Have you signed a book yet?
Yeah.
I was hoping I'd be the first, but that's cool. That's all.
I've had so many people ask, and I'm like, I really don't want to, because it just feels weird doing that.
Yeah.
But
well, you're the first published author we've had on the show, so
that's kind of crazy. So I've been signing it with a Bible verse. And I'll have to look up the verse so I don't mess it up. But it's Genesis 49:24. Let's see. Crap, I typed in the wrong number. And it says, come here. But his bow remained steady, his strong arms stayed limber because of the hand of the mighty one of Jacob, because of the shepherd, the rock of Israel.
Cool.
I thought that was a really cool verse.
Yeah. A couple more hunting questions for you.
All right.
What do you want people to walk away from hunting what do you want people to walk away from the book knowing about hunting?
I kind of hope people can just resonate with it and maybe look back at their own experiences and memories, and maybe the book makes them look at hunting a different way. Maybe to them, hunting is just like going out and killing something, and to most people, maybe it is getting meat, whatever, and that's perfectly fine. But maybe the book can make somebody just appreciate it a little more, or just at least understand why I view it the way I do. And maybe it makes them, think back to their own memories with their dad or their granddad or whoever. And so I don't know. I really just hope they enjoy it. I've had a bunch of people tell me, like, man, it makes me want to go get in the woods right now.
I bet. I'm sure.
So that's really cool.
We live in a place that hunting is very popular, obviously, but there are definitely still a lot of people that don't hunt.
Yeah.
What would you say to people about hunting who think hunting is crazy, like all the time that you spend to go in the wilderness to go hunt?
I'd say you're probably right. You're definitely right. The amount of time that I spend out there is so embarrassing. Thank God my wife lets me do it, which I told her when we first started dating. I was like, look, come hunting season, like you might not see me like ever.
So you laid the groundwork on the front
Yeah,
end.
I had to let her know, and thank God she was all right with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said that she is also likes her private time, so
yeah,
God definitely designed y'all to be together in that respect.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I am curious, now that you're a dad, how is that going to impact the amount of time that you're able to spend hunting?
It already has. Normally, like this time of year, August, September, every weekend I'm like going to the woods and I'm moving cameras and I'm fooling with stands and I'm doing something, scouting, and I've already had to stay home like several weekends to help take care of him, which is great. I'm ready for him to be old enough for me to take him with me. I was like, I'm gonna get a backpack and he, just put him in the backpack and we'll go in the woods. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this hunting season will go for me, because I got a feeling I'm not going to get to hunt half as much as I normally do. And I just wrote this book, so everybody's probably going to be expecting me to kill something, and I'm probably not.
Well, maybe you wrote it at the perfect time at your peak of hunting.
Peak, yeah, absolutely.
It's all downhill. Are you more excited about your son playing baseball or hunting?
Probably playing baseball.
Really?
Hunting's always there. Man, I'm ready for him to be able to run around and me throw a baseball with him.
Well, you've already got 3 nights of a travel team. You got a third of a travel team already.
Yep. I'm ready.
That's exciting.
I'm pumped.
All right, let's go into the 5 questions I sent you, and then we can talk about being a dad and all that stuff. What are 2 books that you loved and/or had a big impact on you?
So, I'm not a big reader.
I was going to ask you about that because you wrote a book. Do you read much?
No.
Really?
I think I've done so much school. I've studied so much, and especially in dental school, I'm reading all day. The last thing I wanted to do is go home and read more. But you've inspired me to read more. I'm trying to read more. The last 2 books I read One of them is called How to Purchase a Dental Practice, and the other one is called How to Grow Your Dental Practice.
Is it How to Purchase a Dental Practice for Dummies?
Probably. It should be. However, my New Year's resolution was I was going to read the Bible from cover to cover.
Oh, cool.
I've never done that. I'm somewhere in Deuteronomy right now, so I hadn't made it too far. I read it in the morning when I'm eating breakfast before work, so like 4 days a week. And man, the Old Testament is tough.
It's dense. There's some big sections that are like, oh my gosh.
I thought Numbers was never going to end.
Yeah.
It's like just a bunch of numbers.
Yeah,
like,
that's
just
right.
listing all
It
these.
is what it says.
But yeah, so I started reading this book called Godly Ambition. I told y'all earlier I haven't finished it. I think something I started struggling with when I bought the practice and I started making money and everything, I was like, how do I go about this, growing this business and wanting to be successful and wanting to, make money for my family and have things and do things. I'm like, how, is this sinful to want this stuff? And I think that book addresses that. I haven't finished it yet, but I think that would probably be on my list.
Cool.
But yeah.
That's good. The reading thing, I post my books on Instagram, and really that's for me. Honestly, it holds me accountable, and it's a way for me to look back and see what I've read over the years and other people see. And I was not always this prolific of a reader, I would say, especially in college, high school, college, after college. I was hardly reading at all because you're reading at school. You don't really, you don't want to read extra. And when I opened Coyote, I was hardly reading because I was just exhausted mentally but once I kind of started getting my feet back under me, that's when I started doing, and I was able to kind of start picking back up. But it's one of those things where the more you do it, the more you want to do it, because you start, you'll hear of a book that multiple people have said you need to read, and then you read it and you're like, oh, that was good. And then all of a sudden you start going down this rabbit hole, and there's so many books that you want to read, and you're like, man, the more I read, the longer my list, my to-read list gets. And so it makes me want to read more because I want to be able to read more books. And so it's just a lot of fun.
Some guy the other day was like, if one habit that changed my life was to read 25 pages a day. And he's like, I've been doing that for 10 years now, and I've read this many books and all that stuff. And I was like, dang, I need to start doing that. And I was like, crap, it'd take me forever to read 25 pages a day. I need some small books.
You definitely get faster. And, reading stuff that you're interested in is always a great way to start. For me, like reading biographies about athletes that I like growing up, that's always, those were always, it didn't feel like work. It was just fun. What's a piece of advice that really stuck with you?
I thought about this question for a long time because I've had a lot of pieces of advice, from just coaches and people through the years. But I came back to something my dad used to tell me as a kid. Like I said, I was small, I was weak, I was, all the things. And he used to always tell me, even if you're having a bad day, or you're, not playing your best, or you're not, doing your best or whatever, he would tell me that hustle makes up for a lot of things. And I think as I got older, that hustle, the word hustle, kind of almost transitioned into like hard work. Like even if this guy's better than me, if I just outwork him, that can bridge the gap. And same with school, and same with just life. Like hunting, like if I just spend more time than this guy, I might, like I said, I don't think of it as a competition, but just like with anything, just it makes up for a lot of things.
Well, I literally thought that when I read your book. I was like, if he's going to work this hard at hunting, he's going to be successful at whatever he does because he knows what it takes. What's the hardest season of your life that you're now most grateful for?
Dental school.
Yeah.
Yeah, dental school was hard for a lot of different reasons. Like I said, the first 2 years, my second year, I went to school from 8 to 5, and I came straight home, and I studied until I went to bed every day except 2, the whole fall. Didn't hardly get to hunt. There was no free time. It was so miserable. And I just hated it. And then as it got easier into my third and fourth year, where you're not studying as much, you're doing more clinical type stuff. You know, my fourth year in the spring, I'm job hunting. I'm trying to get all my requirements finished so I can graduate on time and stuff. And then, you know, Mr. Jeff passed away right in the heat of that, and so I don't know. So that was really hard.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was a tough 4 years. I'm very glad to be out of that.
How did you and Lainey get through that season of Jeff dying?
She's tough. She's a lot tougher than me in a lot of ways. It was hard.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm gonna get emotional on here. I'm never emotional. But yeah, I mean, she's just a killer. She is everything that I'm not, in so many different ways. Dang, you got me with that one.
Man, Jeff was such an amazing person, and he was part of Coyote Flowwood from the beginning and part of 2717 before that. And he was one of those people that when he pulled up, when you saw his Explorer pulling up about to back in, you were excited because you knew he was gonna lighten up the room. And having his whole family involved at the gym has been so awesome to get to know them. And that was really hard, but the community rallied around them. And Lainey's awesome. She really is. What's something about you that would surprise people who think they know you?
I asked Lainey this yesterday, and she said, probably that you're autistic. She swears I'm autistic because I can be in the woods and I can just be walking and I'll find a 4-leaf clover and pick it up. But no, that's not what I would say. I think that I love music, but I'm not musically inclined at all. I can't play an instrument. I can't sing. But like anytime I'm doing anything, I'm listening to music, all kinds. It don't matter what it is. In the truck, I have a hard time listening to podcasts because I want to just listen to music.
What kind of music?
Anything. My phone is just, there's no telling if you put it on shuffle, like what might play. I don't know why I like music so much. I think maybe I always wanted to be able to sing or play an instrument, and I never could, and so I just like it. Like Lainey will tell you, if I'm doing the dishes or if I'm cleaning the house or if I'm making the bed, like I got music playing.
What instrument would you play?
Guitar.
Yeah.
Guitar's cool.
You can learn that, man. You can learn it pretty
I tried
quickly.
twice and failed twice, but I didn't. That was when I was young. I didn't put any effort into it.
Just take half that effort you put into hunting, since
you
won't be in the woods this fall,
and learn how to play guitar.
Yeah,
I should.
You could do it in 2 weeks with that effort.
Probably so.
What's something you used to believe strongly that you've completely changed your mind on?
That CrossFit was bad for you. Lainey tried to get me to do it. Matthew used to beat me up about it, that I wouldn't do it. I just always would, believe that it was that you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to tear up your shoulders. And I was always so hurt in college. I was like, there's no way I can do CrossFit. And I started doing it, and I'm like, I feel better now than I did ever.
Yep.
I have my buddies that don't work out, they hurt way more than I do.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely that.
It's so unfortunate that is, the stigma that people have. It keeps them from doing it. But I was the same way. I was in the training room every day in college when I was from 18 to 23. My body hurt. My elbow hurt. My shoulder hurt. I had shin splints. My back hurt. I had back spasms a lot. I was falling apart. And then I started, at Mississippi CrossFit, and then now at Coyote, and I'm 40 now. My body feels great.
Yep.
And I'll get sore. Yeah, sure, I'll be sore some days more than others, but like my body has never felt better. And I always just look back on when I had my shoulder surgery in college, when I tore my labrum playing baseball, and going in there, going to Mississippi Sports Medicine to have surgery, and then going to physical therapy and looking around. I mean, I'm always observing and looking and seeing who's around, and everybody in there were people that didn't. It was either high school football player or it was some 60-year-old who didn't work out. And those are the people.
yeah.
Those are the people that are getting the surgery all the time.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, "Oh, you CrossFit, you're paying my bills." I'm like, I'm not paying your bills. Like, you've operated on 10 times more high school football players, and nobody says two things about that.
Absolutely.
And the people that need to be working out are the ones that are in here getting surgery because they don't work out,
Right.
and they hurt themselves, they fall, or they move in a box at their house and they got hurt. So
I got a buddy, one of my best friends. He's never worked out. He doesn't. It's not for him. I try to get him to do it, but he won't. They were moving, and he was moving boxes in his house. Hurt his back.
How old is he?
My age, 29.
Yeah, it's not even 30 yet.
Yeah, and
You'll see when you get like 40 years old is when you really start seeing the people that you grew up with who've been taking care of themselves and who haven't. Because you go to your 20-year reunion, and there'll be people there that look like they're in their 50s.
Oh, yeah.
And there'll be people that are there that look like they're in their 20s.
Yep.
And the only difference is who's taking care of themselves.
my dad's best friend, they were going on vacation. He was getting off the plane and tore his dang MCL or ACL or something.
Ruined his whole vacation.
Yeah, he couldn't walk,
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. And
Yeah.
I stay on my dad. Like I said, my mom works out every day, and she does the programming.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, she does her own little iteration
Yeah.
of it. She isn't doing what we're doing, but yeah, I stay on my dad. My dad used to give me so much crap as a kid. Oh yeah, this would be easier if you weren't so weak, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And now I get on him all the time. I'm like, yeah. You remember when you used to call me weak? Like now
Yeah.
you're the weak one.
Yeah. Every day I'm grateful that my parents came and joined when they did. There's no doubt. They're 70 now. And
Yep.
okay, you're married, you got a boy. What's fatherhood done to how you think about life you've built, and the life you're working on building now?
I think it's just pushing me to, I don't know what you just define success as, I want to give him I never went without as a kid. I never had any, I like struggles, whatever. But I just want to, give him everything. It's like, I'm so excited I feel like I've always wanted to be a dad, especially a boy dad. Because I never had a brother, and I'm definitely not going to, I don't think I'm going to have that kind of relationship with him. I'm definitely going to have, it's going to be a father-son relationship, but like Matthew's kids, getting to go watch them play baseball and hockey and all the stuff, I'm just excited.
Chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I want to, it kills me, my friends or people that I know that have kids, boys, and they don't really care to spend time with them and do stuff with them. I'm like, man, as soon as he can walk, like, he's gonna be coming with me everywhere. We're gonna be in the yard every day, and we're gonna be doing something. And so I'm just pumped.
How old is he now?
5 months, or he'll be 5 months in like 2 days.
Just getting started, man. Just getting started.
He just rolled over from his stomach, or from his back to his stomach, like 2 days ago, and now he's just like rolling all over the place.
Wow. What kind of husband are you?
I hope a good one. I don't know. Laney might disagree. I don't know. I'd like to say I'm a provider. My love language is definitely like gifts, and I get that from my grandmother. Like if I want to like show appreciation or whatever, I'll like give a gift or do something. I have a very hard time saying like I love you, but I'll like if you need something or want something, I have no problem buying it or getting it or doing it.
Why is it hard for you to say that?
I don't know. I think just because my family's so non-emotional, that I don't like emotion at all. I'm very even tone, even whatever. So I've just never been good at saying it, I guess.
When's the last time you cried before 5 minutes ago?
Probably when Jeff died.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. And before that, man, I can't even tell you. I have no idea.
I'll tell you what, having kids will soften you up, man.
That's what everybody says. Yep.
You ever have a girl, it'll really soften you up.
Ain't no doubt. Yep. That's what they say about Coach Kennison. He started having grandkids.
Oh,
them
softened him
grandkids
up.
made him soft. Yeah, he was harder on us, you know.
Yeah. Weber, I got an audience question I have to ask you. So your brother-in-law asked me to ask you what it's like to be the worst athlete in your family.
I'm trying to come up with an answer for that. I'll ask Matthew that when he races me in a foot race.
Oh, I like that.
Or I don't know. The last workout I did with him, I beat him.
Did you really?
I was training for beach brawl, so I was a little more ready. He could definitely beat me right now. So
You hadn't worked out with him since last year?
we did a partner workout the last time I was up there. But yeah, I hadn't like gone again. And in his defense, he was doing handstand walks and I was doing wall walks. So I don't know. Well, I could definitely outrun him though if we were to sprint. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a better athlete than Laney.
Gee, we're rolling on that one.
Write it down.
Yeah. Weber is sleeping on the couch for at least a week.
Yeah. Dang. I wish I had a better response to that.
Yeah.
Matthew.
Background on his athleticism.
He played at Delta State too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up playing with Matthew baseball, so.
Matthew always does. Anytime we're going to work out together, he does all the stuff he's good at so that he can beat me. So
That's on the record. He's a cherry picker.
Yep. He likes burpees and squats and stuff. I need to get on the rig or I need a sprint. Give me a sprint.
So, all right, let's get a 100-yard dash on the books between you and Matthew.
All right, I'm in.
And please film it and send me the video.
He does have like 11 years on me, so that's probably his excuse. But no, I'm in. I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right, that's it. Good deal. What do you want your son to look back on and see about the life that you built?
I think more than anything, I just want him to know that I worked hard. Talked to my high school baseball coach about this before he was born, and I was like, for me, I was like, maybe because I was small or whatever, I ended up with this chip on my shoulder where I'm just so driven and like if whatever it takes to get something, like I have no problem doing that. Just motivation, whatever, just a work ethic, like whatever it takes, I can do it. And I'm like, how do you give that to your kid? How do you show them the value of hard work and make them appreciate it and crave it and want to do hard things? And he was kind of like, just show them. And so I think that's my main goal, is just to try to somehow instill that drive and energy and just that mindset. I think growing up, I had a lot of imposter syndrome, and I still do, especially in baseball. And now, having worked through all that mentally, I feel like I can do whatever. Like I can, if I put my mind to it, I can figure it out, and I can do it. And I think that confidence is such a valuable skill. I don't know if you even call it a skill. Just that mental toughness. If there's any way to give him that, I think that would be what I'd want to give him the most.
I've heard people say that things are caught more than they're taught by your kids, and so they're going to catch it from seeing you do it and doing hard things, like watching you go to the gym and do a hard workout even though you don't have to, and watching you work hard at work, and watching the way that you work hard when you're hunting and all those other things. That's gonna stick with them. What are you building towards with your business?
I really just want to grow it, make it a successful dental office.
What's a successful dental office look like?
That's a great question. I would love to be just extremely busy, just like, we're booked out and we're, when people in the area think about, I need to go to the dentist, they think about me.
What's your practice called?
Right now it's called Herbison and Reynolds Dental Clinic because it was Reynolds Dental Practice for 75 years. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to keep their name in it. Now that they're all retired, it'll probably transition into just Herbison something. And so kind of the same thing they had, like everybody knew like the Reynolds, like, you go to them or whatever. I'd like to have that image. I would love to, I've kind of fallen in love with the business side of things. I'd love to maybe one day have multiple dental offices and kind of run that. I don't know. I just like I said, I like challenges and I like the idea of growing something.
Yeah.
And so that's why I bought that book, The Godly Ambition, because it's like, I don't know when enough is enough.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a problem or not.
It's $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm 29, so if you were to ask me that in 10 years, I'd probably be like, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with all them offices. I'm good with my one, and I'm ready to retire.
Well, you and I can talk about that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Why don't dentists work on Friday?
So when I was in school, I was like, dude, I will definitely work on Fridays. Like, I'm not afraid to work. The more you work, the more money, obviously. And then you start working with people every day and dealing with people. And I'm like, dang, now I see why dentists don't work on Friday. 4 days is enough. But really, it's because on Friday, people don't want to go to the dentist. If you're working on a Friday, most time it's people calling like, I got a toothache and my other dentist is closed. I need to come in and let you give me some medicine. And so it almost becomes a waste of time in some sense. And then you got to pay people to be there and stuff. So I think that's most of it.
Interesting. So it kind of became a thing. Dentists aren't open on Friday, so then everybody's closed.
Right. Yeah.
But it does make sense. I wouldn't want to go to the dentist on Friday anyways.
Nobody wants to go on any day, much less a Friday.
You don't want to start your weekend off with numb mouth and all that. Someone listening who feels like they got to choose between being a great hunter, being a great professional, being a great dad, what advice would you give them?
Man, I'll just say, so I think in the book I say, there's an old saying that you can't stretch time, you can only choose how to fill it. And, we all have 24 hours in a day, just choose how you want to spend it. Work hard, have whatever you want, whatever you're passionate about, and work hard and pray a lot. And I think things will fall where they're supposed to. At least they always have for me.
That's awesome. That's really good advice. Where can people find you, get the book, and follow what you got going on?
So I'm on Instagram. I have my personal page, which is WHerb11, and then I have my hunting page. It's just called the.ultimate.addiction. The book is on Amazon. Just search The Ultimate Addiction. It'll come up. I really can't get anybody books because they're shipped through there. I need to order some more author copies because people always want them. But yeah, order it on Amazon. I think it's good. I don't know. What did you think being a non-hunter reading it?
What did I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, he is a hunter, but not.
I thought that
hunter,
there's a lot more to hunting than meets the eye, and that you take it very seriously, probably more so than most people.
Absolutely.
And I was, I like the idea of the craft of it that you put into it. also thought, man, this is a lot of time and getting up early and a lot of stuff that I do not want to do, but
Yeah.
I commend you for doing that.
This guy's crazy.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But not necessarily think you crazy. I understand the passion, the desire to be really good at something, and when you're into something, you want to be the best at it. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that about it, and it made me understand you on another level and know like this guy's gonna be successful at whatever he does, because that's the level of detail and energy that he's willing to put for something that he's passionate about. So that's what I thought.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. What if somebody wants to get you to pull one of their teeth? Where can they go?
Herbison and Reynolds Dental Clinic in Forest, Mississippi. I'm really good at pulling teeth. I pull a lot of them.
I bet. All right, Weber, this was awesome, man. Thanks so much.
Man, thank you. I enjoyed it.